Alfa Romeo's reputation has been like its cars over the last 20 years or so, a little bit rusty. But it's back in business with this, the Giulia QV, a car it claims is the best four-door sports sedan in the world.
But to earn that title, it's got to knock off the best in the business, the iconic BMW M3 and the utterly brutal Mercedes-AMG C63.
Yeah, but if you ask me and many other enthusiasts, the best four-door sports sedan isn't built in Europe, it's built right here in Australia, the HSV GTS.
The new Giulia QV is the most exciting Alfa Romeo in years. It's absolutely gorgeous to look at and the mechanical ingredients are right for a car of this calibre. Priced from $143,900 plus on-road costs, the Giulia QV packs a Ferrari-inspired 2.9 litre twin-turbo V6 engine that makes 375 kilowatts of power and 600 newton metres of torque. Like all the cars we have here, this engine sits up the front, driving the rear wheels through an automatic transmission, in this case an 8-speed unit.
Those cars are great, but they don't value the way a proper Aussie sedan can. Ford's Falcon is gone, so the only V8 muscle cars left here are built by Holden and HSV, and that's only for a few more months. HSV's 30th anniversary GTS is by far the cheapest car here, at $98,990 plus on roads, but it's also the most powerful thanks to a 6.2 litre V8 that makes a whopping 430 kilowatts and 740 newton metres of torque. Naturally, it drives the rear wheels through a 6-speed transmission.
The original BMW M3 arguably created this junior executive performance car niche, blending race-bred hardware with the body of a compact luxury coupe. Now a four-door sedan, the BMW M3 competition continues that theme with a 3-litre turbocharged inline 6-cylinder engine that makes 331 kilowatts and 550 newton metres in M3 competition form. Priced just under $145,000, the M3 sends all that power to the rear wheels via a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic, the only one of its kind in this group. While the M3 is the original of the group, the Mercedes-AMG C63 shook up the performance car scene in 2008 with a thunderous 6.2 litre V8 that made the M3 feel a little bit weak. Now powered by a more compact 4 litre V8 with 375 kilowatts and 700 newton metres, the C63 offers a more brutal approach than its BMW rival. It's the most expensive car here, priced from $155,900 plus on-road costs, but it's also Drive's favourite in this category.
All of these cars are special because they have to offer a broad range of abilities. They need to be luxurious enough to justify their badge and also be comfortable in day-to-day driving. Plus, they have to offer serious performance car credentials on the track, and they need to look and feel special enough to justify 6-figure price tags. So, let's see what they're like on the road.
To me, the HSV is the complete package. It's got everything you could ever want, a ton of grunt, it's got a beautiful interior, it's extremely comfortable. In fact, it's the most comfortable car here with these beautiful big bolstered seats, and you can just find the right driving position no matter what shape or size you are. And it's got a heap of gadgets and it sounds absolutely fantastic. There's all these different driver modes, so you can tootle up to the shops in comfort or you can dial it around to track. Yep, you got it, hit the track and have a ton of fun. There's a heap of technology like torque vectoring in here which helps keep you safe on and off the track. And what you get for the money in comparison to all the others, well, I just don't think it's beatable.
The C63 is a convincing example of the performance luxury car. Based on the excellent C-Class sedan, it feels the part with open-pore wood trim, a lovely Burmester stereo, sports seats and a flat-bottom steering wheel with faux suede elements. It's the dearest car here, but also the best seller, one that has truly struck a chord with Australian drivers. The core of every performance car is its engine, and that's something that AMG adheres to. Out on the highway or in the countryside, it's a very easy car to live with. Driven sedately, it feels effortless, if a little bit stiff and noisy for a high-end car, though the immediacy of the AMG's responses and clearly enormous power reserves speak to a potential that lies beneath the surface, and the C63 really comes alive when you stick it in Sport Plus or race mode, though the latter is probably something best left for the track. The BMW M3 is the most iconic name in this genre of cars, and with good reason. The brand has 30 years of heritage building some of the best performance sedans and coupes on the road. And this is one of the best drivers cars that BMW makes. On the road, the M3 is an absolute joy to drive. It's got incredibly sharp steering, and of course you've got different driving modes that you can put it into, plus you can tailor them into your own choices. The M3 has one of the most impressive interiors here. It does a great job of balancing being a performance car and a luxury car. You've got these excellent seats that offer heaps of support, a real chubby steering wheel with paddle shifters and whatnot, and lashings of carbon fibre throughout that do make it feel genuinely special. The M3 is an absolutely brilliant car to drive. It's just so sharp. It feels like a scalpel compared to the hammer of the AMG. Yes, it's a little bit edgier in some of its responses, but it asks more of you as a driver than some of its rivals, and it gives more back in return. You have to work more to extract the best out of the M3, but when you do, it really does deliver.
So first impressions of the Giulia as a road car are actually quite impressive. For starters, it's quite un-Italian. Alfas of the past have had really shocking ergonomics, like long arms, short leg seating position, whereas this feels absolutely perfect. The steering wheel is in a great position. It's nice and thin, and 3 spokes just exactly where you want them to be. The seats, they're beautiful. They got great support, but they're also nice and comfy for long distance cruising. And the way that it rides, I mean, it's got great body control. It's really sporty and dynamic, but it rides the bumps really well, particularly against this class of car. Although it wears the widest rear tyres of this bunch, it's got very, very little road noise on this coarse chip surface compared to the other cars here. And it's actually quite relaxing to drive out on the open road, where the others feel darty and it's tramlining over camber changes in the road. This is really sure-footed and stable. It's also exceptionally quiet. It brings a little bit more character when you put it into race mode, and you can hear that farty little exhaust note that it has cracking and popping there in the background. Overall, this is a brilliant road car. Of course, what makes these cars even more special and worth the extra spend over the mainstream models is that they offer far more performance than your average luxury car. So, we put that to the test at Goulburn's Wakefield Park, joining the sort of enthusiast track day customers for this kind of car might enjoy. Rather than looking for outright lap times and bragging rights here, what we're focusing on is just how enjoyable these cars are to drive. Well, let's see what all the hype's about as this sports sedan. First impressions are this thing is mighty quick in a straight line. That engine suddenly comes alive with a heap of character. The chassis is amazing, actually. That engine, it sounds glorious when you rev it all the way out to 7.5 grand. It cracks and pops on the overrun, and the steering and the balance, the whole thing is just sublime. You can lean on the car so hard. It's got so much grip and so much just poise. The front end of it, the steering is amazing. The rear end has got a huge amount of traction, where the C63 feels overpowered and it's got the same amount of power. This thing just feels beautiful. It's sublime.
But it's on a racetrack that the M3 really comes alive. The M3, you can really feel that it is designed to do its best work on a racetrack. It's just so precise. The steering is utterly crisp. The response from the brakes is just spot on. And that engine, when you get a chance to really tap into that engine and what it can deliver, feels absolutely magnificent. Oh, this thing is just meant to be on a track. You know, this M3 competition really does turn the notch up a bit on what you'd expect from the M3. And I have to say, the competition, that little bit of extra precision that you get from the suspension and the exhaust note too, it's just a magnificent car. C63, well, there's a reason this car has such a strong following. It is an absolute weapon to drive, both on the road and on the track. That compact but massively powerful V8 engine really does lend this car a lot of character. The C63 doesn't quite have the finesse of the M3. The steering and suspension responses aren't maybe quite as agile as some of its rivals, but do you know what? It's still an extremely impressive car. Magnificent on the road, but then when you can get it onto a track and you can really give that V8 its head. Whoa! Oh yeah. I mean, no, it's not scalpel sharp, but you can toss it about and have a really good time.
Get the HSV out on the track. Oh, and by God, it's a lot of fun. Listen to that. And the grunt is absolutely awesome. And holy crap, does this thing go. And listen to that sound. The brakes are fantastic. And now, it is a big heavy girl. You can feel the weight shift the car around. But at the same time, it's surprisingly nimble. Oh, listen to that. Oh my goodness, this thing belongs on the track.
We took turns in each of the cars, both on the road and on the track, to get a feeling of what their capabilities are. Now, each car has its own unique qualities. The balance of the Alfa Romeo, the brutality of the AMG, the laser focus of the M3, and that great muscle car character of the HSV. Well boys, as the sun sets, we've spent a brilliant day in 4 of the greatest four-door sports sedans in the world. Shorty, is there anything from Europe that can tempt you out of that HSV?
You know what, after spending the day in them, there's not a car I dislike. I love them all, they're all awesome. But while that HSV is still available, mate, I can't walk away from it. I just can't. But what about you, Dave? Is the German still faring well today?
Yeah, look, I agree. All 4 of these cars are absolutely magnificent. And for me, the BMW and Mercedes are the quintessential examples of the European performance sedan. Tell you what though, there's a new member of that club and it's really taken me by surprise.
That Alfa Romeo is absolutely staggering. Who would have thought a couple of years ago that they could genuinely take on AMG and BMW's M division? The Giulia is a beautiful car. I think it looks fantastic. It drives really well. It's a brilliant luxury car to use every day. And when you're at a track like this, you can absolutely rag it. It's great. Who would have thought? Alfa Romeo is genuinely back in business.